It's Amy at the Painted Spindle. Today on my first video tutorial, I will be making a fabric twisted flower. We're going to use a 2.5-inch wooden circle, or you could use cardboard or anything that you would want really. But I'm using this. Also this wood dowel, you could use a skewer or a popsicle stick would work. And then a strip of fabric. This is about 1 inch wide, and it's probably about 36 inches in length. And that usually covers this whole 2.5-inch wood disc. We're also going to use some antique wax to cover the dowel. So first what we do is kind of twist the fabric to get it started. Put some hot glue in the middle, and then you're going to just press down the middle of the fabric. It's kind of hard to get it started at first, but you just want to twist, put a little hot glue in a semicircle, and then you want to twist the fabric and lay it around in a circle just to form the flower. And you just keep twisting and placing it around in a circle. It's easier once you get it started. And then you just keep repeating. I don't put too much hot glue at one time, just because it'll dry by the time I get the fabric twisted and placed down in the circle. You just lay it around and just continue this process until you have the whole surface of the disc covered. You just want to cover the whole surface of the wooden disc. So you just twist your fabric and wrap it around, press it down into the hot glue. I like to leave the strings and the frayed edges on the fabric because to me it just kind of makes it look a little more old and rustic. And here I found that if I twist the wooden disc and hold the fabric in the other hand, to me it's easier to get the fabric twisted. For some reason, I guess I usually do things backwards, but I've just found that that seems a whole lot easier for me than to try to actually twist the fabric. And we're getting close to the end here. Sometimes you're going to have a little more of the wood piece showing on one end than the other, but that's not really an issue. You can just put the hot glue around the edge of the fabric that you've already twisted, and it will adhere very nicely to that, and you can't even tell that there's not wood underneath it. And usually one 36-inch strip of fabric will cover this whole 2.5-inch wood disc. Sometimes the little extra glue squeezes through, but once it dries, you can just pretty much peel it off and it doesn't affect the fabric. And here we're getting pretty close to the edge, so you just put your hot glue more on the last roll of fabric and it'll stick to it pretty good. And there it is. There's the fabric rolled flower. So next we're going to use our scrapbook paper. This one's a little thinner, and they do have some thicker scrapbook paper that works pretty good, but this one works okay too. And I don't have a template or anything. I just kind of freehand cut the petals. All flower petals aren't the same, so I think it looks fine. But of course, if you wanted, you could make one and then use that as a template for the rest of them. And I think it takes about 6 to 7 petals to cover this disc. So here I've got 6 cut. And now we're going to go ahead and put some of the antique wax onto the dowel just to make it not so bright and new looking. Of course, you could do whatever. You could paint it, you could leave it natural. I just kind of like the more rustic look. And then also on the edge of the disc, you can put some of the antique wax on there as well. That way it's just not so bright. I kind of like it with it a little bit darker, but you can leave it natural too. So get my finger protector on again. Now we're going to glue the petals to the back of the disc. I usually go about halfway, make a thin line of glue, and then just turn your petal over. You want the pretty side facing down, and then just kind of put it in the middle, and then the next one you're going to overlap it a bit. See, wrong finger again. And after I get about 3 on or so, I turn it over just to make sure that it's looking the way it should, or the way I want it to. It looks pretty good. So then you just continue, and gotta love those glue strings. I think I decided I could have used probably one more petal, but it still looks good. And we're gonna glue the dowel on. Just go about 3/4 of the way across the wood disc. And just press it down for a minute, let the glue set. So now what I want to do is take some more of the antique wax, and I like to go along the edges of the petals. It just kind of defines them a little bit, makes it look a little more rustic. Of course, you can skip that step or kind of smudge it a little with your finger if it gets too dark. I think I've decided here I'm going to put a button in the middle. You could probably put anything you wanted to embellish it. I decided a button would be cute. And that's it. That is the fabric twisted flower. So I appreciate all of y'all for hanging in there on my first ever video. I will learn as I go and hopefully get better and hopefully make many more. But anyway, thank you very much.